Hello and welcome to Curry Talks. I'm Evan Philandrianos, and this is the show where we can learn more about the Curry community. Today's guest is Dr. Brenda Wrigley, an educator, advisor, and inspiration to her students. Today she will be enlightening us on what the field of PR has to offer and the tips and skills you need to be a successful PR professional. Welcome, Dr. Wrigley.
Thanks.
We know that you are the coordinator of the public relations major here at Curry. Do you think you could define public relations for those who may not know what it is?
Well, most people think public relations is getting attention, which it can be. But quite frankly, it's communication management between an organization and the people who are affected by it.
Seems like a very captivating field where good communication is necessary, as you were touching on. Given the fact that we are in college, what educational background or qualifications are most beneficial for a career in PR to start?
Writing is significant. Presentations, any communication-related skills. In addition, it's good to have some kind of grounding in business. In the business world.
Yeah, so since PR is such a broad field with a number of opportunities, we know internships are critical. We've had them in ad agencies, sports teams, and even newsrooms. Why are internships so important for students, and how should they approach them?
Well, some students think they have this vision of exactly what they'll do. And then they go on an internship and they learn it's probably the last thing that they want to do. So internships give you exposure to a nice range of things so that you can pick and choose. And when you're ready to enter the profession, you have a better chance of doing something that will be satisfying.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, it's true. Internships are pivotal to your journey to being a strong PR professional. Since we are talking about different careers, let's talk about your past. Why did you want to pursue PR?
I am a curious person, and I think curiosity leads you to want to know as much as possible and then to influence other people. Influencing other people can be rewarding. It can be difficult, but it's also an important piece of what people in this field do.
Yeah, very, very important. I've been told you pride yourself on trying to prepare your students as best as possible for real-world experience. With your hopes, students leave the PR program with an internship, plenty of PR training, and they take your capstone course where they work with a real client. Could you inform us more about that?
Yes, students work in teams, and they pick an actual nonprofit organization. They do research. The organization will have a particular challenge, and the students will craft a complete turnkey campaign, which the client gets to use, and it's free.
Wow, yeah, very important. Now we are running short on time, but we know you are stepping away from the role of being a teacher and getting your well-deserved rest. After being such a good role model for us students, how do you want to be remembered as a professor and PR professional? And what lessons do you hope your students take away from your courses over the years?
I hope students feel confident in their ability to write, in their ability to critically think.
Absolutely.
And in their ability to listen.
Yeah, that's very important. So for more information about PR, contact Brenda Wrigley's email at brenda.wrigley@curry.edu. And I want to thank you for being here, Brenda Wrigley. I'm Evan Philandrianos. Please join me again for another edition of Curry Talks.
Hello and welcome to Curry Talks. I'm John Montani and this is a show where members of the Curry community get to learn more about each other. Today's guest is Professor Borisova, who currently teaches private music instruction here at Curry in piano, guitar, and voice, and she'll be talking about what you need to know if you decide to take a class with her. Hello.
Hi.
Welcome. So, I'm told you have quite a noteworthy musical background in teaching history, including tutoring music officially at the age of 19, studying at the Boston Conservatory of Berkeley for your graduate education, and teaching in various institutions such as Quincy College. What got you interested in all of that?
I always had this urge to share what I care as my love for instruments, love for teaching, and to really be able to see the product coming right after when I show to my students how to perform their music. And it's been like very exciting to have him play what I actually show him to play.
Well, that's really interesting to hear. Now, focusing on the school, I know there is a private music instruction and a master class. Can you please explain these differences?
Well, the private music instruction is a class that is held here at Curry. It's part of the music program. It is 1.5 credits, and you can take a private music instruction in different subjects like piano, voice, guitar, the 3 that I teach, or other instruments such as percussion or woodwinds and brass. And the private music instruction is a program that is strictly individually focused for each student depending on their backgrounds or interests, and it's a program that is not the same for everyone in terms that every single person can take the class and it is kind of wrapped up around that student's interest. So we may do a little bit more of classical music or a little bit more of jazz or a little bit more of improvisation, and altogether this is based on what the student interests are.
Well, isn't that nice? Nice to know that these students can either work at their own pace or work with other people. Now, our audience may want to know about the requirements and values of the masterclass. Why don't you describe that in a little bit more detail?
Absolutely. So the master class is the very last class that is part of the course that I teach, and I like to group people together so we really talk about what we have learned, how do we approach hard moments in the material that we may face, learn how to improvise, perform from one another, have everyone engaged into completing a small same project for about like 15 minutes and see how they can create music of their own. So it is really a class about sharing, exchanging opinions, and that is the class that really help people to put their thoughts together and be able to create their own reflection at the end of the semester, because as part of the general education class, this class requires some sort of like product, whether this is a written reflection or a presentation on their instrument, and to be uploaded online in their education gen ed folder. So this class really helps people not only to be able to wrap that together and say this is what I accomplished for the semester, but also helps people to get together after class and start jamming and find their own friends, like in music way.
That sounds real interesting. One last quick question before we go. Would you say that some of your classes work well for new students interested in trying out music but haven't played an instrument before?
Absolutely. I have many students who have never, not only played instrument before, but never had the experience of having music in previous schools, including their just like, high school education. And so everyone is welcome to join the classes. I can find a path, twist it around, have people exposed to music, and have them come out with a product.
That sounds amazing. I think that we're out of time now. Feel free to join us again here on Curry Talks. To learn more, do keyword search for Professor Borislava at curry.edu. I'm John Montani. Please join us again for another edition of Curry Talks.
Hello, and welcome to Curry Talks, the show where we learn more about the people behind Curry College. I'm your host, Justin Clark. Today's guest is John Barrett, a professor here at Curry specializing in theater. Today, he'll be telling us more about the theater program and how he got involved. Professor Barrett, I'm aware that some of us watching may not be aware of the theater program. Let's open up a bit about what it is.
Like everything at Curry, we try to make it as student-oriented as possible, like the radio station, like the Courier Times. So we try to empower students as much as we can. Right now, tonight, we have a show on where we're presenting student-written little one-acts. Most of those come out of the script writing class, but if some student wants to submit it, then we're happy to do it. Next year, we'll do student-directed pieces. So, we try to get as many students as possible involved in positions that they may not have a chance to do at other colleges.
That's wonderful. It's nice to know about some of the programs that Curry holds. Which reminds me, what exactly determines how the shows are held? Is it based on any sort of metric?
The metric is, again, because it's a small college, we need to shape the plays we pick around the talent that we have at any given time. Football team has a great running back, you run a lot. You got a great quarterback, you pass a lot.
Absolutely.
So when we're picking the plays, we're looking at, particularly the sophomores and the juniors that are going to become juniors and seniors. What plays can we pick that play to their particular talents?
Okay.
That's the metric.
Absolutely. That's very interesting. Thank you for elaborating.
I hope so.
Now let's focus a bit more on your stage crew class. What goes on in that class? And
everything that's not the acting and directing. So building the set, painting the set, the costumes, the props, all the things that are there when people walk in on opening night. I think for me, it's the most interesting thing because we start with a pile of lumber and a bunch of cans of paint, and 2 months later we have a house, or we have a castle, or we have a forest, and and it's always different. So that's a lot of fun.
It's very cool. I'm sure that many of the people watching are interested in acting for Curry in the future. Is there any tips that you would recommend for them?
All right, here's a tip if you want to audition to be in a play. You're auditioning from the minute you walk into the room until the minute you walk out. People think it's just about when they're up on stage reading something, but the director's aware of how you're behaving in the room. Do you seem like you're a good guy? Because when I'm casting a play, I'm going to be living with these people for 2 months. And, I don't need any problems.
Yeah, absolutely.
So, the tip is from the minute you walk in to the minute you walk out, be a good guy. If you can act a little bit, that helps too.
Thank you for that insight. We're running low on time, but before we go, I'd like to ask you, is there anything we can expect from the Curry Theater this spring?
Actually, I'm pretty excited about the spring. Professor Brenda is going to direct a production of Clue, based on the board game, the movie, etc. So, we hope that creates a lot of interest because everybody knows Clue. I'm really looking forward to that.
That's very, very cool. Well, I see that we're almost out of time here. Professor Barrett, thank you for having us on.
My pleasure.
One last question. Is there anything that you're looking forward to in this upcoming winter break?
Well, as you know, I'm a married fella, so I'm looking forward to doing all the jobs my wife says, once you're out of school, you're going to do this.
Thank you very much.
You're welcome.
Again, thank you all for tuning in to Curry Talks. Be sure to see the upcoming production at the Keith Auditorium. Check the Purple Press email for more information. Until then, we'll see you again.
Hello and welcome to Curry Talks. I'm Nate Simmons, and this is a program where members of the Curry community get to learn more about each other. Today, I'm joined with Alex Adelman. He is the coach for the men's and women's volleyball team. Welcome, Alex.
Thank you for having me, and I'm looking forward to it.
It's to my understanding that you are the former assistant coach at Elmira College for both the men's and women's volleyball team. Can you walk us through the process of how that transition to Curry happened?
Yeah, so I was the assistant, like you said, for both men's and women's for 2 years. Graduated college in 2022, then worked my way up to 2024, about March, and then kind of worked my way here at Curry. So,
Hope it's treating you well.
it is.
With this being your first season with the girls team, what are the things you learned this season that will use to prepare you for the next season?
Yeah, I definitely think one thing I learned is to push the girls a little bit harder in the gym. I was a little bit light on them throughout the season just for kind of feeling out the water a little bit, and I kind of learned where they're able to go in the future. So that's definitely one thing that I'm gonna use.
Okay, that's nice. With the women's season being fully wrapped up, it's time for you to turn your attention to the men's season. Do you think it'll be harder for the team to compete, given that they're not in a playing conference? And did you take that into consideration when you were picking the teams to play this season?
Yeah, I definitely took that into consideration on picking the teams that I wanted to play. We are independent, which means we're not affiliated with a conference yet. But the teams I wanted to play were teams that are going to give us a challenge, and we're going to give them a challenge back. I know the guys' capabilities on the team, and I can't wait for that to show during our season.
Yes, okay. Now, I would imagine the recruiting process is a bit unique since you're head coach for both teams. What are some of the steps you take about this process in recruiting and everything?
Yeah, I kind of divvy out parts of my day where it's just for recruiting purposes. So whether that's emails, calls, looking at film, definitely plan out what tournaments I'm going to throughout the year. I have an assistant. Her name's Mason Willix. She's awesome, and she kind of helps out with that recruiting process too. But it definitely is a little bit of a challenge for two teams, but we definitely make it work, and we definitely got the people that we need to.
Yeah. Well, I wish you all the best with that, because I
Thank
know
you.
recruiting is very rough, me being on the football team and everything. Now, chemistry is important in any sport, especially when it's a brand new team. Now, what are the strategies you're planning to build a strong team dynamic on and off the court?
I think chemistry is definitely my number one thing that I wanted to bring to this program, especially being new, and how are we going to build that culture. And I think the guys have done an amazing job so far with team bonding events. We've done a lot of things. We went to go see the Wild Robot as a team. I'm planning to do a lot of things when we come back in January for our preseason. I know the guys love bowling, so that's something that I'm looking forward to do with them. And we work BC, so just a lot of having them spend time with each other is going to build that chemistry for a season.
Okay. Well, with the first year as a head coach, now in full swing, what do you think is most important about being a coach?
Yeah, I think one thing is obviously, for me personally, is having connections with all of my players. I have an open door policy down in my office where they can stop in and say hello, and kind of building that connections, which is something that I harped myself on when I got hired. Is I want to build a strong relationship with all my players from the get-go, because having that strong relationship can help us move forward in the season, or when times get tough, how can we push through, and knowing that I'm going to be there for them every step of the way, I think can help that part.
That's good. Well, thank you for coming in, Alex. We're just about out of time. You can find more information about Curry College's volleyball team on our athletic site, and you can find Alex on the court in the spring coaching our men's team to victory. Thank you for joining us on another Curry Talks. I'm your host, Nate Simmons. See you again.
Josh Bracken, and this is the program where the Curry community learns more about each other. Today, I'm joined by Luca Kiami. He's a junior here at Curry, and he's also the co-president of Nerd Empire, and he's here to teach us more about that club and what they do with their members. Welcome, Luca.
Yes,
So-
Josh, thank you for having me.
So, Nerd Empire has quite a unique name. Do you mind telling me what exactly the club's about?
Yes, so it's about a lot of, I guess just a lot of miscellaneous different interests that sort of relate to being a quote-unquote nerd, whether it's video games, movies, TV shows, animes, just anything that is just easy for people to really gawk about and get really into. It really helps, and you'd be surprised to see how well it builds a great community.
That's great, and you mentioned video games, and I hear that one of your most popular video games is Super Smash Bros. Do you mind telling me a little bit more about that game?
Yes, so the only time we've done it this semester, I believe, was when we did like a little informal tournament, very casual one. We thought about doing a tournament for real as an event before the esports lounge thought of that first. But yeah, we've done it before. We've done it successfully, and hopefully we can do it more in the future.
Now, I also hear that one of your favorite games to play as a club is a game called Sardines. I'm a little
Yes.
unfamiliar with it. Do you mind telling me more about that one too?
Yes, so that was a game that the other co-president came up with where it's basically reverse hide and seek, where one person in the group hides, the others go looking for that one person, and then they hide with that person in the same spot that they're in. And it sounds a bit odd at first, but you'd honestly be surprised to see how fun it is in practice.
Well, it sounds like you guys have a lot of fun. Have you done any other activities as a club together?
So the only one that I can think of as of this semester is just simply creating a couple of tier lists. I know that was something that the previous e-board members would have us do on more than one occasion. But this year though, I think we just did one about what Halloween candies were the best, and I think that was about it, as far as I can remember.
So this club has such an opportunity of having a bunch of like-minded people get together. How important of an outlet do you think that is for people?
I think it's actually more important than a lot of people tend to think, because the term nerd, I feel, has historically had a negative connotation as being referred to someone who's just overly obsessed with a certain topic. But really, I think that not even obsession, but just those interests are really what allow people, allow the members of Nerd Empire to really engage in conversations that allow them to feel like their opinions and interests truly do matter, no matter what society tells them.
Now, I understand that Nerd Empire has a pop culture focus, and they've actually had people in the past attend Comic-Con. How do you think that enhances someone's experience in this club?
I'd say that that's a bit of a tricky one to answer, since I'm not too familiar with pop culture myself, not much of a guru on that. But I would say that since it is something that so many other people are interested in, especially our members, I think that is just another enhancement for creating the club's community.
Well, it sounds like a great opportunity outside of the college for people to attend to. It's amazing of the variety of things that you do. Out of all the activities that you do, what do you think is your personal favorite?
I gotta say Sardines, really, I do.
It sounds like a good one. And then finally, I hear that lightsaber battles are one of your biggest things on campus as a club. You mind just touching on that a little bit?
You know, thank you for reminding me on that, because that's something that we completely blanked on this semester. Which I'm honestly shocked about, because they were such a huge deal back. At least they were when I started off as a freshman.
They sound like a lot of fun, but unfortunately, Luca, we're just about out of time today. If folks are interested in attending the next Nerd Empire meeting, their meetings are on Tuesday nights at 9 p.m. in the Learning Commons Room G01. I'm Josh Bracken. Please join me again for another edition of Curry Talks. Nice job, man. Good work.
Hello and welcome to Curry Talks. I'm your host, Brenda Maloney, and this is the show where members of the Curry community come together to learn more about each other. Today's guest is Kathy Joyce. She's the Director of Health Services here at Curry, and she will be helping us get up to speed on health care and what we have to offer here at school. Welcome, Kathy.
Thank you, Brandon.
So can you tell me a little about our health services here and what we have to offer for students?
Sure. So our health service center is located at 1016 Borislava. We're over next to Bell Hall, and we run like a CVS Minute Clinic or a small urgent care center. We can see students for general colds and flu symptoms. We can see students for reproductive health, for STI symptoms. We can do blood work and injections. And just truly, if you wake up in the morning and are not feeling well, you can come and see us.
That's awesome. That's good to know. So, for those who don't know, Health Services is located behind Bell Hall, as Cassie just said. Can you walk us through the process for scheduling an appointment with you guys, like especially if with the new online system that you guys have
Yes.
available?
So our new online system was initiated via the students. They thought that that would be better for them. So in your pyramid portal that you submit all your health records to, you can go to that via your My Curry portal, and you can choose to schedule an appointment. And there's multiple appointments available with multiple reasons that you can schedule an appointment for. You can also go to our Curry College Health email address and website, and you can click and book an appointment that way, or you can call our health center and book an appointment with our medical assistant.
That's great. What services or treatments are directly offered here on campus, and how often do you refer people off campus for?
So that's a really good question. So honestly, it truly depends on the type of illness or condition that a student has. So we're able to do blood work on campus that we send off campus for results, and then depending on that, we may be able to help you on campus, and I know that's tricky. If you have chest pain, we would have to refer you off campus. We don't have the availability of diagnostics to do that. But as far as on campus, if you have a medical condition, just like you would go to your medical doctor for your urgent care center, we can help you with those things. We would refer you off for nutritionists. We would refer you off for x-rays, for invasive labs, or anything that we weren't able to do in our little clinic.
Wow, that's awesome. So we all know that emergencies can happen at any moment. What type of emergency medical services are available here, and how do you keep up with them?
Sure. So we have EpiPens on campus, or if a student comes in having an allergic reaction, if they have their EpiPen, we can help administer that. We have breathing treatments that we can help students if they have shortness of breath. If a student has a true emergency, we would really suggest that they call public safety. Public safety officers are all first responders, and they can get to the student faster, obviously, than a student can get to us. And if you're in a true medical emergency, you probably shouldn't be moving across campus. And then an ambulance could get there faster, and minutes matter in emergency situations.
Makes sense. So we know that things spread fast on college campuses. What measures do you have in place to handle outbreaks and infectious diseases, such as the flu?
Sure. So we work really closely with the Department of Public Health, and there's all kinds of laws and protocols that we have to follow in a clinic. And as nurses, and then we also work incredibly closely, and we're in constant communication with the Milton Board of Health.
All right, nice. So you have about 30 plus years of experience here in public nursing. What influenced you to work specifically on a college campus?
I had a college-age daughter. I had been an elementary school nurse and a high school nurse, and I'm also an alum here at Curry. So when the opportunity arose, I ran the COVID clinic and managed all of COVID on Curry's campus. So that's what brought me back to Curry.
Oh, that's awesome. So Kathy, it seems like we're just about out of time today. For more information on Health Center here at Curry, you can go to the curry.edu page and find all the information there. I'm your host, Brenda Maloney. Please join me for another edition of Curry Talks.
welcome to Curry Talks. I'm Nicole Michael, and this is the show where the Curry community learns more about each other. Today's guest is Dr. Jennifer McNally, professor, math area coordinator, and principal investigator in the Discuss Is program here at Curry College. The Discuss Is program, short for Discourse to Improve Students' Conceptual Understanding of Statistics in Inclusive Settings, focuses on making statistics education more accessible and impactful for all students. Welcome, Dr. McNally.
Thank you. I'm glad to be here.
The title is a mouthful, but what is the main reason for this program?
Well, we found that Curry College students are, first of all, very diverse in their learning profiles, and many of them will say that they have learning or attention differences. And we found that what we were doing to teach statistics was really working for a wide variety of students. So we wanted to learn more about that. So this is a first federally funded research program at Curry College where we get to look and talk to students about the instructional practices that are really supportive of their statistics learning, but also the way that they think about statistics concepts, so that as instructors we can learn more about their productive and less productive ways of thinking about stats concepts in order to tailor our instruction to better meet their needs.
Yeah. This program sounds like it has a lot of potential to make a big difference. What are some of the key areas the program aims to address?
Sure. So we really want to be able to identify instructional practices that are supportive of student learning. And we identify those by talking to students and talking to their instructors and looking at a lot of footage of statistics teaching so that students are able to talk about what the faculty member does, but also the faculty member can reflect on what they're doing in the moment and the decision making and the rationale behind the decisions that they're making as they teach statistics to a diverse group of students. We've been able to take that knowledge and we've been able to share it with some national communities as well as our own local Curry College stats faculty in order to make their instruction even better.
Yeah. I'm sure there's been a few challenges along the way. What are some of the challenges that you faced so far getting this all started?
So as you know, students don't always like to come to class. So getting them to come to research meetings, we had a big focus group where we offered them food at the president's house to bring them in. And we also can do one-on-one interviews in our office. And we try to incentivize it with $20 Amazon gift cards. So if you know anyone who wants to participate, as long as they've taken stats at Curry College, they're welcome to come and talk to us about their experiences.
Yeah. So you've also interacted with a lot of audiences through this program. What kind of feedback have you received from everyone so far?
What's most impactful for us is that our students are really reflective about what aspects of their learning either are really supportive of how they learn or can maybe stand in the way. And so we've been able to get so much information from students that they just open up about the things that are happening in their stats class that are either helpful or not, and suggestions for people about, how do you teach a diverse group of students something, that can be conceptually difficult, which is statistics.
Yeah, and then looking ahead, what is next for the Discuss Is program?
So this is our second year of the grant. It's a 3-year project. It got about $400, just a little less than $400,000 worth of funding from the national government. And what we're hoping to do is finish out this project by publishing a lot and doing a lot of video professional development for teachers. But also we're hoping to apply for another grant, which would be a 5-year project at about $2 million. So we're really hopeful to be able to take what we've learned here and then be able to spin it in a different way and really build on what we've done so far in order to help even more students learn statistics.
Yeah, so that's all we have time for today. For more information about the Discuss Is program, visit www.inclusivestatistics.com or stop by the research office in L209 in the second floor of the library. I'm Nicole Michael, and join me again for another edition of Curry Talks. We did good.
Thank you.